Yo, y'all already know who this is, man. It's the Golden Voice. As always, as usual, Brews and Boxing coming to y'all live with another episode of the Fade Hour. And when y'all know when we say Fade Hour, we always want to make sure we let y'all know to go get your favorite drink, go get your favorite smoke, sit back, tune in, and listen to us go at it Royal Rumble style, man. And I'm going to go ahead and go around the room, let my peoples introduce themselves, and then we're going to go ahead and get to talk about this Deontay Wilder, a press conference, fight announcement with Brazil. Also get into the Kiko Martinez and Gary Russell rumor fight, and many other topics that come along. But yeah, like without further ado, let me go ahead and step aside.
What up, y'all? This your boy News representing Ringside Rave all day. Y'all know what it is with me, man. Hey, got the Platinum OG. I ain't got no Ciroc, so it's about to be straight high life for me. So I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to get to it, man. I can't believe what happened today, so I can't wait to talk about it, and we'll see what the fellas got to say.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Smoke, aka Mr. Gas Station Stunner Shades, aka Mr. Free Smoke Boxing. Typically, I would have a joint or blunt in my hand, but I'm on a smoke break because I'm trying to procreate. So let's get to it.
Yeah. What's good, y'all? It's Pat Scorpion, the Northern representative, and I got my glass of Cabernet with me. I got to wash down this pasta and turkey meatballs and whatnot. So let's get to this.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get to it, man. Oh. Go ahead. I hear it in the background. Go ahead. I know who that is. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What up, what up? You already know who it is. It's your boy Pete, repping Ringside Rave and Bodega Boxing. Looks like I came through just in time.
Yes, you did, my brother. Yes, you did.
Right.
But yeah, man. There goes somebody else. We already know who that is, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself. We are just getting through the introductions right now.
Champ side.
Yo, what up? I didn't hear
That
the
much,
I didn't
bro.
hear the I didn't
Yeah.
hear the first part of what you said.
Oh no, I was saying just go ahead and introduce yourself, bro. We were just going around the table introducing ourselves. We didn't even
Oh
jump
yeah,
through.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to the Fade Hours, Leon at the champ side.
Bet, man. But yeah, man, I guess we can pick up where we left off last night since we got somewhat a little bit more information with the Wilder situation. Obviously the fight with Brazil was announced for May 18th, which won't be on pay-per-view, but just be on regular Showtime. And I think by now we've all kind of heard about the deal and how he's gonna go forward. So I just want to get y'all opinion on it.
Yo,
P, you going to go? Hold on, no, let P go first, because then P, you're going to mute.
Yeah.
So let P get his off
Okay.
first.
Listen, everybody's wondering, why he's turning down that much money. And like I've said before, I don't know the particulars, and I'm not going to act like I know the particulars. My thing is this. My thing is this. What um what guarantees are being made that Wilder will get those guarantees? Like, first of all, they offered him 20. The zone offered him 20 million to fight Brazil, but how can they guarantee that they can even get Brazil because Brazil is not with the zone? So how can they effectively guarantee that? Then it's the matter of how can you guarantee? Did Joshua even sign off on that? Is he guaranteed? What happens if things go awry with AJ and Miller? Like, there's just too much up in the air that we don't know about. So I can't blame him for not taking it because the particulars, maybe he knows the particulars better than we do. So if he feels like this is the better deal and he can make this money with Showtime, then by all means, go ahead. I don't care about all that stuff as long as we get the fights that we want to see. So it is what it is.
Yeah, so I read something real quick right before we came on because all I had initially heard is that Deontay Wilder announced that he was going to fight Dominic Breazeale on regular Showtime on, what is it, May 18th or something like that. So I read a real quick article before I came on here, and it said that Wilder was aiming for a possible fight against Klitschko in late 2019. which, if y'all don't know who I'm talking about Vladimir Klitschko, who's like 42 or something like that. And the last time he fought was in 2017. It was funny, right under that article was another one where Deontay Wilder said fans shouldn't focus on the money, they should focus on the fights. Well, Mr. Wilder, this sounds like a recipe for some bullshit fights.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, at least this shit is not on pay-per-view. But then the thing is now, I mean, obviously for people who actually, you know, if you want to watch these niggas' paychecks or whatever. So what type of deal? What is Showtime doing to placate Wilder on the money end? You know, something because I mean. Because I read on Twitter that you know they're currently working on some sort of deal for him. You know that would supposedly equal what DAZN was offering him. I guess most likely obviously we'll probably have to stay tuned for that one. But Breazeale, the Breazeale site was nothing that was surprising to anybody. I mean, Breazeale was a mandatory for a hot minute. Well, between him and Dillian White, I mean, they were trading. I don't know who's the mandatory, who's the mandatory of that. You know, so I mean, the Breazeale fight was going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And this, you know, now that the other proposed fights, the Fury fight, you know, rematch fell through. You know, Breazeale, you know, found a way in finally.
Yeah, man. Me personally, I mean, like I said last night, like I said on the Fade Hour episode 32, man. I mean, I can't fault Wilder for betting on himself. You know, I can't blame him for that. You know, definitely keeping the opportunity to fight on Fox available by being with PBC and being on Showtime. He's thinking that he can be. You know, because he's bringing up that, like I read where he said that he has the same team as Floyd, right? And I don't really understand that. I'm with the same people that got Floyd where Floyd went, because the thing is, they did help Floyd get to where he get, but the key word is help, not they got him there. They helped him. Floyd helped himself, which was the main thing. Floyd not only had the persona, he had the ring ability to fight anybody he wanted to fight and come out to fight unscathed. Never looked bad at all. Never had the public turning their back on him and stuff like that. When he got those opportunities, he had no Tyson Fury moments. You know what I mean? That he had no real Luis Ortiz moments in his rise to that top.
Well, yeah, the casino fight. Well, that's
that was before. I'm talking about
Money Mayweather.
Yeah, I'm talking about that. Before, like, he wasn't with Al Heyman before he became Money Mayweather, was he? I know, bro. I know Al Heyman. I know the Ohio player did not have Floyd fighting in the bingo halls, in the Rose Garden and stuff like that in front of empty arenas.
I mean, Wilder ain't Floyd, so it doesn't matter if he
right, and that's the thing.
That's
the thing. And that's the thing, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure a lot of people had the same agent as Michael Jordan. A lot of people played for the Chicago Bulls, but they weren't Michael Jordan. It's about you creating your own lane, and I really think that I don't mind him going in, you know, trying to create his own lane and stuff like that. But I'm just hoping that he's going to make. I just hope that he made the right decision, because it's not every day you can actually get $100 million. You know, pretty much guaranteed to you. And so,
yeah, I mean, first of all, shout out to breaking up weed on air. Whoever's doing that, because it ain't me. But there's the other side of the coin, right? Like, we don't know what Anthony Joshua would have got with those potential DAZN fights. I guess that's what the big holdup was between him and DAZN. I mean, Leon, you would know better than any of us.
Yeah, so I watched the video of Shelly Finkel and Deontay Wilder, and that's exactly what Shelly Finkel said. He said, say, for example, I give you $1. It looks good. You know, that's your side of the piece. And say, for example, you don't know what I'm getting. He said, and I got $5. He said so. He said he didn't want to get into the details, but that's basically what it is. They don't know what Joshua would be getting. And as far as this, I just feel like, we was going to get Breazeale versus Wilder either way.
Right.
So that doesn't matter. And he didn't sign a long-term contract. So he can still fight on any network. I don't know if he's going to get the money now. He might get the money later. But just because say he does fight Joshua for the 40 mil, it's like signing away like your rights to something that you created. Like that's the cap on what he can get. We don't know what the pay-per-view look like on the US side, on the UK side, what it looked like on the back end. Like we don't know what the details in that look like. And it just, I feel like he didn't need to rush into that. And it's also a loyalty thing, like I was talking about yesterday. Everybody got a piece on the board. ESPN got a piece, DAZN got a piece. Wilder would be number 2 over there, the number 2 heavyweight over there if he went to DAZN. So I see so many different factors at play that I could see why he didn't sign it right now, but that don't mean that it can't happen down the line. And don't forget that Fury was on Showtime recently, and so was Joshua on Showtime recently.
Right. One thing,
so why he got to jump?
Yeah, one thing I can't be hypocritical about is if I can't criticize him for not taking the flat fee of X amount of dollars. When I was telling Triple G not to take the fee when they were trying to give him that when it came to fighting with Canelo. You see what I'm saying? Like, man, they say, hey, here's $15 million, take it or leave it. And I was like, nah, why would you take that knowing that you could probably make more, about time the fight came around. So I can't play both sides. So I just want to throw that out there.
Wilder would sell the shit out of that fight.
Right.
Did they say it was a flat fee?
Well, not a flat fee, but you see what I'm saying.
But that's all we could do is speculate. I don't know. I was just speculating. That's all we can.
Because that's true.
Nobody knows the details.
That's true, but I still gotta say at the same time, I was on Anthony Joshua ass when they said they offered him 50 mil.
Yeah,
right.
The zone don't even have pay-per-view.
You know what I'm saying? But they created for that fight. You know what I mean? When they said he offered them 50 mil, when they said he offered them 50 mil, we was all on Team
But
Wilder.
that wasn't a cap though. That was just guaranteed money. That was guaranteed money plus whatever he was gonna make. But that's what I'm saying. We don't know what don't know what Wilder was gonna make.
Right, but we don't know if DAZN was capping it either. We just know that he was offered 120 mil. We don't know if that was
the
flat.
Cap. The cap was 40 mil for Joshua.
That's what they said, 40 mil for Joshua.
Yo, so
that's what I'm saying. So let me just get this off. Say, for example, he beat Breazeale like he was already gonna fight him, right? Say he deliver another crazy knockout. You mean to tell me he can't go back and get that money back that very next day in negotiations, whether it be with Showtime or DAZN?
No, because at the same time, it's business. And I understand what they're saying. Like it's personal, but at the end of the day, they're not the only people that talk business. We may not be talking boxing business, but I talk business on a daily basis. And you're running the risk. You ran the risk. And
it's only 3 heavyweights. It's only 3.
It was 3 heavyweights, but it almost was 2 just 2 months ago because Deontay Wilder almost lost.
Yep, he needed
so we have to remember that he had to get a knockdown in the very last round in order to retain his belt and keep his old. That's what we're dealing with. So in my business, that's a risk. So knowing that you have that high risk of actually losing now, you're turning down 120 mil and betting on yourself not losing and actually amassing more than that 120 mil. That's what the risk is. We got to put the flat numbers out there. If you don't acquire more than 120 mil, you took the risk and lost.
Yeah,
that's just flat. That's just 101.
Fighters have done it though. Pacquiao turned down a flat.
They have.
What you about to say, Pete? Pat.
There's also an example of someone turning on a flat fee and then trying to be a bad decision. Hakeem Rockman, when he knocked out Lewis, turned down a 9-fight deal with guaranteed money from HBO and signed with Don King. And then and then of course
Jesus.
And then Rockman, of course, we all know got KO'd. So you can say that Rockman lost a shitload of money from not accepting the right offer at the right time, and so that's the risk that Wilder has. if he's gambling. So it's not a minor gamble. It's like, it's on top of what News just said. It's a major gamble. Like, something like that can happen because if
we almost just seen it.
Yeah, I mean, all it takes is one punch in heavyweight boxing. This is in no way similar to Mike Trout, who signed like 12 years, $420 million today. So that's like what, $35 million a year. If Deontay Wilder goes into the Breazeale fight, not saying that Breazeale is the dude to do it, but he does have punching power, and Wilder has significant flaws. I mean, all it takes is one punch in heavyweight boxing, and you could see that $100 million. Turn into you being slumped over, getting paid $7 million, which is still a shitload of money, but it's $93 million short of what you had. So I don't know, man. I mean, hopefully, Al Heyman threw him a percentage of PBC or like a percentage of Fox or some shit like that, because I don't know.
It's just crazy because
on top of that, we're not going to see the best fights out of this, and that's, to me, is the fan. That's what I care about,
that's the biggest loss of it all.
When the fighter is getting, in excess of $10 million, I can say, okay, you are being fairly compensated for what you're doing. Anything more than that, great. I hope you get as much as you can. But at the end of the day, I'm a fan of watching you fight. I'm not a fan of watching you spend money. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's like I said. That's just the way it is in boxing in 2019, man. Business before everything else. It's disgusting, but it's what can you do?
At first, it's not about the money. Then 12 million, then 20 million, now 100 million. So it's just like.
But remember, last year it was 15 million for Wilder.
Right.
This year,
right.
It's 40 million. That's what I'm saying. He was going to take the flat fee last year.
But then it's about the money, though. But it's about the money.
Even outside of the money, though, think about it just as the positions on the board, bro. Like, why would Showtime not put their hand in? They wouldn't let Wilder go fight Joshua on DAZN. Like, they wouldn't do that.
Man, Wilder's not signed to Showtime. Like, I'm tired
of the people he works with are. They with Showtime and Fox. It does. They work hand in hand.
You have your job. If somebody came to you and offered you way more money to do your job, you're gonna be like, "Well, I've been in my company for a while."
Who cut his check? Who cut his checks?
Is that what you're gonna say?
Who cut his checks?
I'm asking you. Is that what you're gonna say? If somebody came to you and offered you more, 3 times more than you ever made in your life to work the same job, you're going to say I can't because I'm loyal to my company?
I'm not saying me. I'm saying he's doing what the person that cuts his checks,
bro. I feel it. But
his advisor is telling him that to do.
Hey, that don't mean it got to be acceptable. Everybody don't follow that.
I'm not saying it's acceptable.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not agreeing with the point. I understand it, but I'm not agreeing with that, because don't tell me about how you a boss and I run this and I do this, but you can't do nothing because you following behind your advisor who works for you.
Yeah, that's
so who really run the show?
That's a Manny Pacquiao.
Like, that's crazy to me. Who runs the show? You don't run your own show. Like, listen, don't call yourself a boss if you work for Al Heyman. You're an employee.
Who has went over to another network while they would been affiliated with a network?
With one network.
A big ass fight on that network. Ever.
I mean, Danny Jacobs literally.
What was it?
Basically, who has ever crossed over from a network and fought a huge fight on the opposing network that they
who's went from HBO to Showtime while they won the contract with HBO, right?
Left Showtime and went to HBO. That's like Paul Clodo.
And then Jacobs went from HBO to Showtime.
Canelo a boss. That's my whole point. Canelo a boss. He didn't sit and say, "Well, you make boss moves." Don't say I'm a boss and then fall back and say, "Well, my advisors are telling me," because they're business decisions. Look, if you get knocked out, your advisor is not going to be there for you. Yeah. That's how boxing is. Yeah. Them boxers ain't gonna pay your bills if you lose your next 2 fights. When that 100 mil dissolves, Al Heyman ain't gonna throw you 100 mil. That don't happen in boxing. It's boxing we're talking about. It's not business. It's not real. This is not a team sport. It's not nothing. You're supposed to be out for yourself. Why are you worried about somebody else's business moves? Unless you got a part of the company, it don't concern you.
What do you think about this, P?
I mean,
that's how I look at it.
I mean, news is right. News hit the head. Like news hit the nail on the head. So yeah, it is what it is. I can't say anything else. You gotta look after yourself. You can't be this. I'm a boss, but you hiding behind people.
Right, you picking and choosing. You picking and choosing when it's time to bow down to your advisor.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. So you really can't make a fight then. So you really can't do what you want to do. It's an invisible fence. That's what I just used. I used that analogy about a week ago. It's an invisible fence in front of you. You can't leave your yard. You look like you can. You look like you can until it zap your ass as soon as you try to cross the street. And that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean,
you're done. They could have offered you $200 million. It don't matter because PBC got business with Showtime. They could offer you $500 million. PBC got business with Showtime. Like, that's ridiculous to me. Now, if that's going to be the excuse, I'm definitely not rocking with that. That excuse better be that exactly what he said, where I'm betting on myself, and if you're doing it that way, I can rock with that. But if your whole business is because of what Al Heyman is doing behind the scenes with Showtime, dude, if you slump, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. And they're not going to care.
And that's the thing is we have seen consistently, whether it be the Spilka fight, the Gerald Washington fight, Deontay Wilder gets himself in situations where he could lose. And yeah, he has the one hit quitter. He is the bronze bomber. I think he'll knock out Dominic Breazeale and probably pretty much anyone else he faces. But the other are the unexpected, right? Anything can happen at any given time, especially in heavyweight boxing. So
you needed
I don't know.
Two whole knockdowns. You needed 2 whole knockdowns just to draw with Tyson Fury.
And even
Tyson Fury, who wasn't, fully, you know what I'm saying, like who had a layoff.
Fat Tyson Fury.
Y'all gamblers, those are hell of a risks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like them telling you now you know that you barely passed the test, but so I'm gonna offer you an increase in pay grade now, or we're gonna let you make your own pay grade. But now you got to even pass another test, and you know what I'm saying, like, and you struggle. You struggle when it's time to take these type of like. I wouldn't do it. I just give me that money now. You know what I'm saying? Give me 3 times what I'm earning now. Let me get that out the way because I would feel I'm gonna knock Breazeale out. I'm gonna whoop Anthony Joshua ass over in the UK, and then I'm gonna come back.
So if he lose to Breazeale on DAZN, he gonna get the Joshua fight for $40 million.
Yes. Now that's the
contract. That's the contract, bro. That's the contract.
I think Joshua would take that belt off of Breazeale before he'll fight Wilder.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We don't know. Nothing is guaranteed.
The contract is guaranteed. If I got a guaranteed 3-fight deal, like
they said her not even a part of the discussion. So how they got Joshua in the fight already?
Well, then
locked down for a rematch.
I mean,
and they're not even acknowledging that they got Hearn in the deal, in the conversation. Why they don't fuck with Hearn.
Hell, then what if Big Baby beats AJ?
Exactly. Right.
Then where we at?
I mean,
is it a 3? I don't know, man.
Ain't Skipper the money man?
Or another example is like this just too much loose ends. We don't know like what is what. So what if Joshua fights Miller and he beats Miller and gets hurt and has to sit around for a while on the shelf? What's Wilder going to do? He can't fight anybody else because the 3 fights are the two of them with Joshua. Like, what's he going to do in the meantime if something like that happens? You know what I'm saying? There's just too much that we don't know.
And he can't fight Fury rematch if he goes to the zone.
Well, so I mean, I guess there is the what we don't know, which is a whole bunch of stuff, and what we do know, which is $100 million.
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, there's fear of the unknown. There's not a bunch of fear of $100 million.
I mean, we can only hope that more details, whether with this deal with Wilder and Showtime, comes to light, or more deals leak from the DAZN deal. You know,
honestly, I don't care what details come out. If it is, Wilder ends up, fighting Dominic Breazeale and then Kaunaki and then Vladimir Klitschko, which is signed to DAZN, who has Usyk and Joshua. but I'm just a fan.
But well, shit. Speaking of Fear the Unknown, well, what's known as Turbo Fist is coming out for his once a year party,
Who's that?
allegedly.
Who's that?
Mr.
Who could
Gary
you
Russell.
Mr. Do we got a Gary Russell Jr. fan in the house?
Rumored to be trying to get Kiko Martinez in the ring within the next few months, and then go away for a year. Man, what the hell are they gonna do with him and his? Why is he not fighting Santa Cruz? I can't even get it out because I'm just so
Yo, first of all, shout out to Woke Champions, Gary Russell Jr. What's up with that? But Mal and I were talking before we came on air, and we were like, where do we know the name Kiko Martinez from? Like, why do we know this guy's name, right?
Right.
And so you pull up BoxRec and you see the dude, and you're like, oh, it's that guy. It's the guy that's 39-8. Gary Russell is going club cruising for a chick at 1:45 a.m., and he pulled up with Kiko Martinez. I mean, let's be real. Let's be real about that.
Man, I don't know what the hell Gary Russell Jr. is doing, man. He received so much hype coming out, man. And
like I said, I mean, like I said, I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't acknowledge what Heyman and PBC did to his career, you know.
You can't blame. Nah. I won't accept that. I won't accept that from you. I won't accept that from you.
Yo,
I have to accept it because it's the truth. It's a pattern. It's a pattern from him,
Heyman doesn't.
Garcia to Peter Quillen. These are all Heyman problems. Heyman created these problems with these spies, and that's why they are where they are today. And unfortunately, Gary Russell is a victim of that.
Man, no, he's not, man. Because the reason he's not is because Gary Russell Jr. already told us he doesn't love boxing like that, man. That he doesn't care for the sport.
He's enabled.
Gary Russell told us that he wanted to retire at 30.
He's enabled. That's
Gary Russell had articles written about him last year about how he's been replanning for retirement.
Like, he's enabled by Heyman tells him to make these moves. That's his advisor. He's advisor. Tells him to all do all this shit. So that's
So when it comes to the L,
he's just not into the sport like that. Like, he likes to buy. He's just not into it like that. He wants to get in and get out, get his money, be financially stable. I mean, I understand it, but it's just that, it's like when you have a talent that was supposed to be Gary Russell Jr., then you only see him 4 times in 4 years. Like that's like, I think it's been more full moons than Gary Russell fights in the last 4 years.
And I guess it's more so the opposition, not even the amount of time that he's out there. I could see if he was trying to unify once a year, but like Kiko Martinez.
Yeah, I mean, this shouldn't surprise me because it wasn't that long ago that Gary Russell was the king of TBAs. He was the TBA king at one point. So this is maybe like he graduated a step up from TBA, but not that much. Sheesh.
So what I want to know is, and Pat, this is kind of directed to you. So is the Al Heyman as an advisor type of dude? Do you think that Al Heyman has like a manila folder and he goes into one-on-one meetings with these dudes and he sits down with Gary Russell and he's got like pictures of like 6 different fighters and he's like, I advise you to fight Kiko Martinez over Leo Santa Cruz.
Well,
I mean, how do you think that Heyman influences him to get him to the point where he only wants to fight once a year against trash opponents?
Because he overpaid them. That's what he did. That's what it is. Like when you pay these fighters a little bit more.
That's true.
Like
the zone.
We all know what Santa Cruz did.
I got an analogy after this, man.
Paid him $700,000 to fight a sparring partner.
You know what he doing, man? You know what Pat do?
Like the
what
zone.
Pat is doing is the equivalent. What the Pat is doing, the equivalent of
Jewels.
The equivalent of like saving. He's doing the equivalent of blaming the person for overfeeding you rather than for
Keep
you
in
getting
mind,
out of
I've
shape.
said this for years. It's not
You know
like
what I'm saying? Instead of him blaming Gary Russell for not fighting any opposition that he could fight, because he may not be able to get every top opponent, but I'm sure he can get at least 2 or 3 fights a year if he really wanted to.
Keep in mind, though, I kept the same energy for years. There's a whole lot of receipts of me saying this. This is not this ain't new.
I said you could say it. You could say it. That just don't mean that. You know what I'm saying?
If you're not Anthony or Andre Dirrell or Adrian Broner, I think they've ruined themselves with their decisions. Heyman ruined you as a fighter.
So this comes back to my original question. Like, what do you guys think that Al Heyman actually does? Do you think he literally goes into the rooms and talks to these dudes?
No, I agree.
He's got connections to the venues. That's what he always been.
No. I mean, so like he's the advisor, right? So do you think that he called Gary Russell Jr. and they had a conversation about this shit?
Kind of like how did Danny Garcia end up fighting Brandon Rios? Like, did he go and say, "Well, do you want to fight Brandon Rios?" Or
yeah, and I'm not joking. Like, that is a legitimate question, because when you have matchmakers and stuff and promoters, and so you would think an advisor would advise, right?
I think it's the opposite. I think you go to him and he actually advises. I don't think he brings you the fight.
So you think that Gary Russell Jr. went to Al Heyman with 3 fighters. He said, "I'll fight Kiko Martinez, my trash guy, and the dude that works at the fitness zone down the street."
I think they go to fighters. I think they go to Al Heyman, telling them they want to fight. You know, like
how
who
much
do you
they
think's available, right?
Yeah,
all that, and who does he think would be the best opponent for what they're trying to do? And I think that's what he does. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what he does. I think he just basically, is basically a whole bunch of people mentors. If he was in the street, he'd be a whole bunch of people OGs.
Nigga made Mikey Garcia dreams happen. He made Mikey Garcia dreams happen.
Made his nightmares happen too, but
yeah, like I don't think that they do that. But again, I'm not gonna blame you for overfeeding the baby. I mean, you for overfeeding the grown man. That man, listen, he purposely not fighting. I can't blame Al Heyman. I gotta blame Gary Russell for not getting in that ring. You can fight even the fighters he's fighting. He can fight more than 1 time a year.
He can fight him 3 times a year.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, with the exception of JoJo Diaz, the last decent,
And so and that's what makes me think that he's an underachiever, because I thought that he could have did more. I thought that he would have been a star.
I mean, you remember after the Loma fight and he landed like 8% of his punches or whatever, he was like, "Before I retire, I'm chasing the Loma around. Like, I won't retire until I get that Loma fight again." Da 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 da.
Man, don't even talk to you if you mention Loma anymore.
I mean, even still though, the crazy thing is that, like I said, I know he can pay his money and he can or whatever, but the crazy thing is when Gary Russell retires, it's gonna be a whole what could have been with him, to me, because we never would know how good Gary Russell actually could have been if he was actually a consistent fighter that fought rather than 1 time a year. Like, he wasted 4 years of his prime as a boxer. And Gary Russell has, like Pat always said, like you called him, he has extreme speed. He has a lot of power. His combination punching is probably the best in the game, period.
Yep.
And he don't, but yet we never get to see Gary Russell fight. That's crazy, because the whole thing he want to do is be financially stable, and if he would fight more, he wouldn't even have to worry about that, because I don't think nobody at 126 could really beat him but Leo Santa Cruz. That's when I always said. Just because other than that though,
I think Warrington would be a good scrap with him.
But I think Gary Russell Jr., man, he got to get in that ring, man. He got to get in the ring.
I mean, at least more than once a year.
My only concern with that one, because it showed it right inside the JoJo Diaz fight, where the ring rust. It started because when he was forced to go more than about 3 or 4 rounds, he started really struggling against Jojo Diaz, who I don't think is that good. And it took an adjustment for Gijo, for him to actually win that fight. He won it clear, but it was just like I'm seeing the signs of this lack of fight
activity, right? The inactivity.
It's starting to catch up to him. And I know he's a gym rat and all, but you can't substitute that for actual fighting. No matter. I don't care how much you are in the ring, in the gym with your brothers. And I know you want to get your brothers all stuff, but you have a career. You're a champion. You should defend your belt more than once. And back to WBC, I'm actually surprised that WBC has not stripped them of the belt. It's I don't understand that situation either.
Might as well strip him if you're gonna fucking fight people like Kiko Martinez once a year. Like, what the fuck? Like, he's the real one time. He's the real one time a year. At least when fucking Thurman fights one time a year, he makes it fucking count. Not no fucking Kiko Martinez's and Jojo Diaz's. Like, this is terrible.
So I'm looking at Kiko Martinez box rec right now. Within the past 2 years, he has a fight versus a dude that is 22-33.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then his last 2 fights are a draw against the guy who was 11-1-4, and then he beat him in a UD. So needless to say, this is going to be a challenging fight for Mr. Gary Russell Jr.
Nah. He gonna put the beat on him.
Has been around for a while. I'm just hoping that's what it is. It's rumors. That's what everybody. Kiko Martinez is for everyone from Warrington. He almost beat Warrington. He got killed by
Frampton.
He fought Frampton twice, I think. So it's.
You never know. Hey, Smoke. Y'all know I've been saying, you keep fucking around with these journeymen and you keep giving them title shots. At some point, one day they're gonna realize, hey man, this might be my last world title shot. You just never know in this sport of boxing, man. So
he is the #1 featherweight out of Spain. So let's put some respect on his name.
Put some respect on that Spaniel. Straight up. But yeah, I guess that's a good stopping point, man. Y'all know how we do it, man. The fade hour, we come to y'all. Well, I let News do that. He closed it up better, man. But I guess tomorrow we'll get into a little bit of Mikey and Loma. I know Mikey's released some things today or yesterday, just mentioning.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious? I ain't trying to hear that bullshit.
Okay, well.
Man, that irritates me.
That was my preview for tomorrow's show already. Thrown to the bushes.
Why are you mad at that man for getting beat?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm mad at him for not trying.
God forgive Smoke.
Try.
No, God forgive Smoke. Don't.
Hey, Smoke. About what round when you started slumping in your seat, bro? Was it round 4 or something where you was like, "What? I'm about to get it from these boys." Man. Like, what round was it when you just?
When did I come into the chat and I was just like, "Fuck"? I think it was the 4th round.
Said it early.
Shit, man. Like I said, we don't need to revisit that fight. It's ancient history.
He said he would love a fight with Loma, but he haven't made a decision to go down to 135 yet.
Right.
135 yet. He said he gonna think about it. He either stay at 147. He could probably go down to 135. Like, I don't know, but
he should fight Regis.
Oh yeah,
that would be a good fight.
Josh Taylor.
That would be a good fight. I don't think he want that Josh Taylor work.
There's no money in either of them, so yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, that is true. Mikey looking to get out.
Yeah,
Mikey looking to get out. So,
but shit. Speaking of getting out, right quick. Better be if Smoke. He will be back May 4th against somebody on ESPN. That his they came to agreement about his contract, and that's been dissolved, so that's taken care of. So hopefully now Better be able to take off at 175. We can get some some
So-
fights from him.
Yeah, no, because Benavidez he's fully signed with Top Rank, so all his
Oh,
fights.
for word?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
that's dope. Doesn't he have to fight like a legit dude the first time? Isn't he
Yeah.
fighting like Sven something?
Well,
No,
May
he
4th.
is fighting a legit
Wow.
dude in this time. I mean, this time he's fighting Hot Rod. He's the one.
Hot Rod.
He's the one that almost beat Marcus Brown on that PBC card some years back. In fact,
Well,
I thought he actually did beat Marcus Brown. You know,
I think I was there for that fight.
You don't remember?
you know,
But yeah, that's that's a little tidbit.
maybe if his
I mean-
fights are challenged in this.
I mean, at least now that he's with Top Rank, at least now Gvozdyk has some competition. They can't just hide him from all the top 175 guys.
I mean, Beterbiev needs to fight 3 times this year.
Fuck it,
Possibly.
make it 4.
I mean, if he's starting on Cinco de Mayo or what, Cuatro de Mayo or whatever.
No, he'll probably fight 2 times because he's Muslim, so he's going to be fasting for Ramadan.
Yeah, for
So-
Ramadan, for sure.
Yeah.
But shit, man. If nobody else has anything, I guess news we on the home stretch. But yeah, no. I know we always go around and say our little final things. So I'll let y'all go ahead and get that in, and news can go ahead and wrap it up. Pause.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Smoke. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at FreeSmokeBoxing. You can hear me Monday through Thursday on the Fade Hour. Holla at your boy.
Yeah. It's Pat Scorpion, New England representative. And I don't really got no final words for once. You know, that's a rarity. You know, so just keep loving Pat Scorpion because Pat Scorpion loves y'all. That's good final thought. All right.
What up, y'all? It's your boy P, and you already know. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bodega Boxing. And unlike Pat, I don't love any of you. Fuck y'all. I'm just playing. I love y'all.
What's up, y'all? It's Leon at the champ side. Follow at the champ side.
What up, y'all? It's your boy News, representing Ringside Rave all day. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Fade Hour, episode 33. You know, we'll be here tomorrow like we are every day, Monday through Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern time. I'd like to thank the fellas for coming through, you know, having a drink with me, smoking with me, you know. And you can follow Ringside Rave. We on Twitter, we on Instagram. Of course, you can subscribe right here on YouTube, or you can definitely follow us also on Spotify if you listen to this podcast on there. But at the end of the day, like I say every time, thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate it. And we out.
We out.
One.
We out.